Hey, welcome to a Way Offsides Pop In, and as always, Roll Tide, big Roll Tide. We're doing some research, kind of looking at the roster. A couple of weeks ago on our Thursday night live stream, we went through our projected start for each position on Alabama's 2024 offense, and we posted a few videos about Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, and some of these guys. And there's a guy in there that I realized I think a lot of us are forgetting about, who I think is a player to watch coming into the 2024 season. And today he posted on Twitter, got his number 17. No more Isaiah Bond, he's gone. And of course, a lot of you know we're talking about the 6 foot, 200 pound wide receiver out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Amari Jefferson. Amari committed and was part of the 2024 class. He was the number 5 player in Tennessee, number 33 wide receiver. He was top 200 nationally, 4-star guy. And at 6 foot, 200 pound, he's not as tall. We've talked a lot about Derek Meadows, who's at 6'5", 200 pounds, but he's a big body wide receiver. And so it's just a guy that kind of has flown under the radar in terms of Alabama's offense and what they're going to be able to do this coming up year. It's somebody that we just kind of wanted to bring some attention to, who may be exciting to watch. It's going to be hard with Amari Jefferson because there's going to be a lot of wide receiver talent on this team. We do think Kendrick Law is going to be the guy, right? Kendrick Law is going to be the feature wide receiver this year. And then you've got Kobe Prentice, and of course, everybody's chatting it up and talking about Ryan Williams, right? Everybody wants to see Ryan Williams on the field. Don't get me wrong, I do too. I don't think Ryan Williams is going to get to play as much as everybody wants him to. But that's okay. That's all right. It's all right. And it's because Alabama still has a pretty deep wide receiver room. They could use some help there in terms of recruiting this class, but they're working on that. You bring in Latsier Brooks, you bring in Caleb Cunningham, you bring in a guy like Derek Smith who could potentially play wide receiver. Alabama's addressing that, but in terms of what they're going to put on the field in 2024, Amari Jefferson is kind of this dark horse breakout player that everybody's kind of, he's flying under the radar, if we're being honest. Out of the Baylor School in Chattanooga, committed to Alabama back in 2023. Had offers on the table from a lot of different people: Colorado, Tennessee. A lot of folks. Of course, he had some smaller schools, but Florida State offered him, Georgia offered him, Georgia Tech, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Oregon. A lot of teams that Auburn, Florida, a lot of teams that feature high end wide receivers. With Jefferson being the big body guy that he is, I think that you'll see him a lot in red zone situations this year. I think that he may be a go to option inside the 5 yard line, maybe inside the 10 yard line. We'll see how Kalen DeBoer and company choose to use him. But it's just all the talk in this offseason. And don't get me wrong, I am very excited about Kendrick Law. Coach DeBoer spoke to his speed at SEC Media Days, but with Amari Jefferson, there's not a lot of hype around him. And I don't know if that is justifiable. The guy was a solid 4-star guy coming out of high school. No, he's not, some top 5 wide receiver. But according to Max Preps and all these other recruiting agencies, he's nuts. His senior year, he hauled in, I think, like 74 receptions, just over 1,400 yards, 20 touchdowns. He was Tennessee High School Football Player of the Year in 2023. He's an all-around, just very productive wide receiver. Again, big body, sure-handed wide receiver. And I think Alabama is going to use him to their advantage, specifically in the red zone. And so, as we get closer to the season starting, this is somebody I definitely want you guys to pay attention to in week 1 versus Western Kentucky. He seems like the kind of guy that could maybe, how Jermaine Burton kind of had breakout moments throughout his career where, he's kind of quiet for a couple of games and then he would come in, have just a stellar performance and turn a game around. Amari Jefferson kind of strikes me as that kind of player. Very Jermaine Burton-esque, maybe not as smooth in terms of route running as Jermaine Burton, but because of his body size, he's going to be able to bully some guys high point balls, block people out. And so we'll see what happens. But again, I just want to put, Amari Jefferson on your radar moving into the 2024 season. I think that this guy could be special. I really do. He's a freshman. I want you guys to really pay attention to as the season progresses, and and just see how Alabama, how Kalen DeBoer, Sheridan, how Coach Shepard, how they all use him moving through the season. It should be very interesting, especially if they use him complementary to, Kobe Prentice and Kendrick Law, Ryan Williams. All of these guys should be very interesting how they use Amari Jefferson. Really excited about him, and you should be too. So that's all we've got. As always, you guys, please hit the subscribe button, like, follow. You can follow us on all of our socials at Way Offsides. 4A's, not 3, not 5, always 4. 3's not enough, 5's too many. And then as well, if you haven't, if you're living under a rock, we have just kicked off a collaborative effort from sports content creators, the Way Offside Sports Network. If this is something you're interested in joining, it's just a community of like-minded individuals that work together to promote content, to help each other create things that they're proud of, to grow brands. If this is something you're very interested in and you already have a live platform, please feel free to reach out to me. Would love to talk to you about what we're trying to do with the WSON. But as always, as I tell you every show, and I will every show, say your prayers, wash your hands, read your Bibles. What comes next? Yeah, horns down. Beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.